Okay, today with multiplication. I put 5.3b up in the corner because our standard, I can multiply with fluency a 3-digit number by a 2-digit number using the standard algorithm. Sam already told us earlier that the standard algorithm is simply how we know how to work it, the standard way that we usually work it. There are other strategies and methods that we take on. One's known as the box method, and we'll talk about that later.
I know that.
But today, I want to simply bring out your knowledge as to what you know from 3rd grade, from 4th grade. So we took on 2 practice problems, and some of you may not have completed this one, and that's A-okay, because tomorrow we're talking a lot in depth about 3-digit by 2-digit, because that's basically the largest amount you're going to be accountable for in the 5th grade. Okay, so starting off, I want to kind of show the beginnings of our multiplication and where you started from. Let me see if I have it in here. I thought I did. You know what? I'll make a fresh one. So, very beginning steps of multiplication for you guys. Y'all started off in like 1st grade doing this. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, maybe. Maybe you began that repeated addition in like 2nd grade if you didn't in 1st. But this is the beginning steps. And y'all know what this is? It's 20. And that's repeated addition. That's step 1.
Wow, that's...
I know. These are the basic building blocks. Step 2. You started doing math facts with multiplication. So you turned this into 5 times 4. And you knew, hey, that's multiplication. 20. 3. You got a little bit older, and we added 1 more digit up top for you. And let's say it's 35 times 4. And you brought in this guy. I want to tell you that I used to be a 4th grade teacher, and I love taking on the basics of a concept and of an operation. So I want you to hear the way that I kind of begin with it if y'all were my 4th grade babies. And then we're going to step into becoming the 5th graders you are.
5th grade.
I want you to think of this bottom guy as being a storyteller. Okay? He tells a story, and it's always kind of boring. It starts off the same. He always says, one time. That little hint, one time, is going to tell me that whenever he multiplies, he starts off with the what's place.
Ones.
The ones. What do you think the T in time stands for?
Tens.
The tens. He multiplies times the ones, then times the tens. Okay, that's how it always goes. One time. And he'll elaborate a little more on his story in just a little bit. Now, where we go from here, so tell me what is 4 times 5 like?
20. 4 times 5, it is 20.
It is 20. Now, let me tell you how I talk about traveling or those that move or regroup. Blaze said 4 times 5 is our 20. 20 is a 2-digit number. Uh-oh. 2 digits. Okay, let me make this real for you. 2 in one place can't happen. It's kind of like when you go to the restroom. Do 2 of you go into one stall at the same time?
No.
That would be super weird, right? So, pass.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't go to the restroom and I'm not like, oh, excuse me, ma'am, can I come in there with you? No, awkward. So, what I need you to know is that down here, there's only one place. And now, which one travels and which one stays? How I describe it is that there's 2 places in 20. There's a ones place, there's a tens place. Whenever you're young, let's say between 1 and 9 or between 0 and 9, you tend to not be the one that travels in the household.
I travel.
Now I know that y'all, that may be the exception for some of you, but typically, let's just say, you're not out traveling the roads on your own. Okay? You stay put. It's the teenager, the tens place, that goes out and travels. Okay, so I always state to my students, the ones place stays put. So who's here? The 0. The teenager, the tens place, travels. Okay? I want you to get in the habit of seeing that I always circle my tens place. Please stop with the whistling. The tens place, I will always circle, and then whenever we're getting rid of it because we've regrouped it, I always say clean house. You'll see. So next place, he's told his 1. Now he's going on to the second part of his story time. Berkeley, what do I do next?
Well, you would do 4 times 3.
Is?
4 times 3 is 12.
And then what do I do with that mysterious 2 up top?
You add it to it, and that'd be 14.
That'd be 14. Who comes down?
The 4 and
The 4, because it's the ones place. Clean house, because I added it in. You don't ever want to have a messy house when you have guests coming over. After you incorporate it, clean it up. Then my 1 travels. The reason I want to see that you're making it travel is to know that if I had hundreds place, what he would actually now say is 1 time in Hesterville. Okay? 1 time in Hesterville.
it doesn't
So,
say in one
but
time.
there's not a hundreds place, so I don't multiply 4 times anything. So what do I do with that 1?
You clean it.
I clean it up and I bring it on down, okay? This is my answer. And y'all knew that because you know this type of multiplication. It's 2 digit times 1 digit. That was the very next step. Now, last year, y'all went into even bigger and better multiplication. And let's just say you did 3 digits times 1 digit. I'm gonna get this guy out of here. I guess 1 piece at a time. And we're gonna focus on just simply this one. Come on. Work with me here.
Get over there.
Now, a little bit quicker, because I'm just getting us back in the routine of it. Luke,
Well,
tell
that's
me
an
what was my first step?
3 times 2.
Is
3 times 2 is 6.
awesome. Next step. Scott,
3 times 2
Is.
again is 6.
awesome. Jimmy, next.
3 times 4 is 12.
Awesome. Who stays put?
The 2.
2. Who travels?
1.
The 1. I circle it up. I don't have anything in the thousands to multiply, so I'm going to bring it on down and clean house. Now, this is where y'all are, and this is where you're golden. I actually looked at star results of this, and y'all from 4th grade were in the 90s on being able to take care of this. Okay? Now, there is one portion that I'm concerned about that we'll talk about tomorrow, but this is where we're going to start stepping in today. It's having 3 digits times 2 digits. Now, I want you to know that that guy who told stories earlier is also telling stories again. But I want you to know that there's a chapter A to his story and a chapter B. Okay? So I'm going to label chapter A in green. Did you know that what this is really 2 questions here, 2 multiplication problems. It's truly 422 times 3, that's chapter A. And then next, if I got rid of that 3, 422 times 50, that's what chapter B is.
You erased it.
Oh, I did.
You erased half of chapter B. I mean A.
All right, so 422 times 50 is really what this is representing here. And that's chapter B. Just going to circle that up in red to know that we're separating the problems. Now today, if you get taken back, meaning if you get overwhelmed, please know that tomorrow we're taking this lesson in depth. I'm just giving you a preview because in a moment when we go outside and chalk with our multiplication,
Chalk?
yes, then I want to see if you're able to successfully take on this, you're going to be able to move on to double digit as well. But if not, I want us to get really good at the one digit first, okay? So, quickly, Berkeley,
Yes, ma'am.
take on my chapter A. Pretend the 5 is not there. We're just going to take on chapter A.
You want me to come up there?
Sure.
I got the answer. Oh, cool.
And in your journals, I would also like you to have your problem, just as an example. Excellent. Go clip up.
Thank you.
So I have 1,266 is my chapter A. I'm going to color code it over here so you can see that I have that separation. Now,
Sam would like to go.
this is where there's a common mistake. Can I have hands down really quickly? Can I hear? This part is where Matthew said that his old teacher kind of turned this into a smiley face and said, hey, to be successful, I want you to know that you need to bring that down first thing. Okay? And that's absolutely correct. That's a good way to think of it. What I kind of state is every time, as soon as you go into chapter B, the first thing you need to take on is putting a 0. First thing. So put a 0. You can think of it as a smiley face that Matthew stated.
Pickle.
But really what that's kind of getting you to do is think of it as not there anymore. He transferred, and you're actually now taking on this guy as being the storyteller. So, we have a new storyteller. Yes, sir.
If it was like 55, she would cross out that 5 where the
Are we about to go
zero is,
outside?
and then she, when she put the 5 down, she would put the 0 under the 5, and she would cross out the 5 and put the 0 at the bottom, and then she would move to the next digit and do that.
That's what we'll do whenever we're bringing them all together. I'm kind of showing you the separation right now, and then you will add it up. Now, whenever you have this new storyteller, the students that I had that would always kind of make mistakes with it, this is what I typically see. So don't let this happen to you. Okay? This storyteller doesn't just go straight up.
I'm sorry.
He tells the same boring story as the other one. He starts off by saying, one time in Hesterville. Now, what do you think
One
that
time
H in
Hesterville.
Hesterville stands for?
Hundreds.
The hundred.
Hundreds.
So, who does he multiply by, Kate?
On the ones.
The ones place, which is 5 times 2, which is
10.
10.
Actually,
Who comes down?
the
The 0. Who travels? The 1. I circle it up. Next step, Nina. He's already done the 1. He said 1. Now he's on to time.
5 times 2 is 10, add the 1 is 11.
Good. Who comes down?
The 1, and then you put up the 1.
I bring up my 1, and what do I do to this guy?
Clean up.
Clean out.
Clean it. Get the
Awesome.
broom.
Next step, Peyton,
Do 4 times 5,
is
20.
fly.
And add the 1 is 21.
Good. I bring down my 1. I carry my 2, really. I clean house. My 2 doesn't multiply 5 times anything.
And you break
So
down.
I just bring down my 2. So this guy comes down. And now I have 21,100 as my answer from chapter B only. Now, eventually, you're going to be doing it all in one spot. So this is actually going to come over here. And I heard someone say it earlier as to what do I take on next?
Add.
I add these 2 stories up. Chapter A, chapter B, to get my final product. 6 and 0. 6 and 0. 2 and 1.
3,
1 and 1.
2,
And
2.
2. Awesome. Y'all are about to show off this if you're confident in this type of multiplication. If not, tomorrow this is exactly what we're doing. Now let me